Yeah, a lot of people thought that you were going to live in Texas. I know you've been to like Rocket Ranch and obviously Starbase. Why the pivot to Florida?
There was never a pivot.
You know this guy from his channel, What About It? Felix has been committed to posting weekly updates for over 3 years now. In fact, he did it in the reverse order. He quit his job and then started making YouTube videos. But it's paid off. Now he has over 250,000 subscribers, and most of that growth happened when he was living in Germany. But Felix wanted to live the American dream, the dream of rockets launching in his backyard. So 5 months ago, he and his family did exactly just that. A major transition, a huge commitment, and a high reward. I was lucky enough to see the What About It studio in person and get a better idea of what it's been like for his whole family. Also, peep the amazing wrap on his new Tesla. I am so jealous. I would like to have a similar Tesla with an Ellie and space wrap someday, but all things in due time.
Okay, so Felix Schlang, am I saying that right?
No.
No?
No, you're not. But you can say Felix Schlang. It's Felix Schlang.
Schlang?
Schlang.
Schlang.
Yep, there you go.
Felix Schlang. Okay.
Felix.
Felix.
Keep going, keep going.
I love it. And so most of my viewers, they really want to know how you're liking Florida.
Oh, it's great. It's the endless summer sunshine state. There's tons of rockets here. It's beautiful. It was the right thing to do. Germany is very different. There are 0 rockets launching from Germany. I mean, there are some projects of launching out of the North Sea, and yesterday we actually had somebody from Saxaford, from the Shetland launch pad they're building right now. We had him here at the house, really cool guy. But there's nothing going on space related.
Yeah.
And so we had to move closer. We really wanted to be closer, and well, Florida.
Yeah.
It's everything's here. You have the. I'm not a big fan of winter, so Florida.
Perfect.
Florida it is, exactly. Then I'm a huge fan of rockets. Florida it is. The kids, we can finally homeschool them because we wanted to always homeschool them at home. My wife and I were both pretty good teachers, so why not try it yourself? And here you can, and so on and so forth. There are so many things that were just great about Florida, and so we're here and we're enjoying it very much. You're editing yourself?
Oh, I do everything myself.
Oh God, yeah, I did that too. Up until episode 85 or so, everything came from me.
Yeah, so you know. You know
It's a workload.
It is, it's a lot.
Keep going, you're doing good.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. So many people have been wanting me to interview you, so I'm very thankful that that we're able to do it in person, because should we just do a 2-shot? What do you think?
I don't know, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people thought that you were going to live in Texas. I know you've been to like Rocket Ranch and obviously Starbase. Why the pivot to Florida?
There was never a pivot. The idea from the beginning on was to go to Florida.
Okay.
And there's 2 main reasons to that. Number 1, the kids. I mean, you've been there, you've spent some time in Brownsville and the area around it, and there's not much to do there.
No.
And so if you take your own kids out of their environment, in Germany they had friends, they knew everything, they knew the language, which is a big problem. I mean, they're learning English pretty quick, but it's a lot of stress. And then you can decide either to put them into Brownsville or into Florida. What would you decide?
Florida.
All right, so that's number 1.
Yeah.
And number 2 is, of course, don't you want to be so close to the starships?
Yeah.
Well, we arrived 4 months ago, and that's about when SpaceX started building the Mechazilla here.
Right.
So the starships are going to come anyway, and I visit Starbase a lot. In fact, in a week or so, I don't know if the interview is going to be out by then, but we're going to be at Starbase for the 5th time now. So we visit a lot,
right.
And it's beautiful, and we're even planning a documentary right now. It's a crazy thing. Maybe we can talk about that later when the camera is turned off. But yeah, Florida is just a better place to raise a family, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Nothing against Brownsville and everything down there, but that is a hardcore rocket enthusiast territory, and we have 3 kids. So it was always Florida. It was never Brownsville.
But how hard was that decision to actually like commit to moving your whole family here? It's everyone.
I'm crazy. I've always been. The way I started my channel was to quit my job and then upload my first video.
Oh, Really?
I've always been like that.
Okay.
So, and that's the same with moving to Florida. Go all in. We're enjoying it very much, and I've done that in my life for as long as I can think, and I've never regretted it.
I mean, it's working out. What was your full-time job before YouTube?
Oh, tons of stuff. The last job I had was a sales representative in the field for a global company, managing their key accounts. So going to the customer, doing sales negotiations and contract work with them, and then coming back home. And I hated it every morning. Whenever I got up, it was a good career, and people actually thought I was crazy when I quit the job to do YouTube videos, because I was already pretty high up the career ladder, but I hated it, and so that was that last job. But before that, I have something in common with you, because I worked a lot in media. Okay. I worked at book publishers, radio stations, TV stations, sound camera, technician behind, never in front of the camera, but I did all the recording, and for a radio station, for example, I produced a show called Newcomer, which was interviewing rock bands.
Nice.
And I did that together with actually a pretty famous person in Germany, but I was never the guy behind the microphone. I was always the guy behind the glass wall. I mean, you know the routine. And so I did the recording and the technician work, and I loved it. It's just really hard to make a living with that. Normally it's freelance work. I mean, yeah, you know it. And it's really... So at some point, when I had my kids, I had to decide that I go into a career that gives me more money. And that was that. And I didn't like it. So I'm really, really happy that I can do this for a living. It's just...
How long before your channel, I mean, okay, if you started with like nothing, that's like a really bold commitment.
$500 of budget for the channel in the beginning, $500. Camera included.
Oh my gosh, and I thought I was crazy for quitting at nearly 50,000 subs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did it though.
I did, and I'm not looking back. I never, never want to go back.
There you go.
Yeah. How long did it take for your channel though to start getting momentum?
It rose like a rocket. It's crazy. I started, I think I did the first upload on May 27th or something of 2019. And my initial goal was to have 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I got 1,000 subscribers by the end of the month. Nice. And from there on, I was just on a roller coaster. It went really fast. I don't know what I did there, but it seems to have resonated.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy about it. Every single viewer.
You were saying in the beginning, you know, you were a one-man band, like I still am. People want to know, how big is your team now?
Oh, big. Oof. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's the core team. And surrounding that, it's another 10 to 20 people doing all sorts of stuff occasionally. Okay. So it's big. It's I've said that a few times on episodes as well. I'm the host, and you know me, but there are so many people. Y+, for example, is a community executed project. It's people from the community getting Chiefs footage from Starbase and editing videos twice a week with it, or sometimes even more often. They've had 4 or 5 releases per week. And that's all just community work. We support them, of course, because Y+ is break even. It's getting a little bit of money because it's monetized by now. But all of that goes back into software licenses, hardware upgrades for them, and all sorts of stuff. And so, yeah, it's incredible. But I'd say it's around 30 people.
Are most of those employees like freelance, or are they on a payroll, or how?
There's payroll, just normal monthly payroll is 1 person.
Okay.
And that is Chief.
Okay.
He's at Starbase. Yeah, go Chief, exactly. And I just gave him a raise, as a matter of fact, because he's doing such a crazy good job down there. It's I mean, you know how hot and how hard it can get down there.
Bugs are bad there.
Exactly. So Chief is a knight for us, standing down there, enduring everything and being there for every test, for every little thing that SpaceX does. And so he's the guy on the payroll. And then there's plenty of people who are on and off, getting paid, getting upgrades, all sorts of stuff.
And someone wanted to know, who writes your scripts? You.
1,200 pages in the last 2.5 years.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
About rockets. So.
And you were telling us before we started filming, how many hours for each episode roughly?
150 from everybody combined until the episode hits YouTube. Yeah, there's a lot of research work mostly. Yeah. It's just so much research, so much communication with people who are contributing to the episodes, like the 3D artists and Chief, networking with him, what's going to happen next, where he should be, and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. If you count all that in, plus editing, plus recording, plus scripting, it's 150 hours.
Wow.
Roughly, yeah.
Someone wants to know, how did you develop your team?
Mm-hmm.
We answered how big it is, but how did you develop it?
Lots of communication, of course. It's just we have back channels on our Discord that are arguably more active than the main Discord general chat, which is super active. It's just there is so much communication going on in the background, and all that started with I created my Patreon account, and I put a perk in there saying, you get access to my Discord if you become a patron. And so I sat in there for like 2 weeks or so, alone every evening, because I thought at one point a patron must come, and I want to give him that perk. He shouldn't be in there alone. So I sat there, and at one point it just made blip, and there was this guy. And he came into the voice chat, because I was always waiting in the voice chat for somebody to show up. And he came in there and he started talking. And that's basically how we got our team too. It's people approaching us saying, I want to help. How can I help? And then we get together with them. We see what they can do. And then they enter the team. I seem to have some sort of talent of getting people together. I told you when you arrived here that for the past 4 months, we had a full house here, and that's the same with the team. Everybody's coming. Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing, but...
What got you and your wife interested in the first place in, space, I guess? I'm not sure what they're saying interested in.
I dragged my wife in. So she wasn't... she was interested in all things science and engineering before that, but space, I infected her with that, I think. A while back, though, I have to say that. And
how long have you been married?
12 years together, 10 years married now. Oh, awesome. So we just had our anniversary.
Nice.
Yeah, and I got into space with Challenger, actually. I was 6 years old when Challenger exploded, and I saw it on the TV, and I still remember thinking, oh wow, that's beautiful, because I didn't get what was happening. I was like, oh, rocket, and then, oh wow, look at the fireball, that's amazing. And so I started researching at that age what actually happened, because everybody wasn't agreeing with me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, look at that, mommy, wasn't that beautiful? And she's just stared at the screen and was like, no. And then I started researching into it, and that's how I got interested in space. From there on, more and more and more.
Wow.
Yeah. Astronomy too, all that kind of stuff.
That is so cool. How has the transition from a small town been? I don't even know if you lived in a small town in Germany. I guess
last I did, and I grew up in a very small village actually, but in between I lived in big cities. Okay. So it wasn't that big of a... There was a transition from Germany to the United States though.
Right.
That is a very different culture. Even though it's both Western countries and all that kind of stuff, and a lot of things are similar, the US culture is very different from Germany. So there is a lot of transitioning still going on there.
What were you not prepared for? I'm sure you had some idea because you'd made so many visits, but what did you not expect?
No, nothing actually.
You were ready?
I think, I have a little advantage up my sleeve. I have a sister and a brother here in the United States, and they've been here for 45 years or so.
Gosh. Okay.
So citizens, everything, never left the United States again. And so I've been to the States a lot. That's why I'm missing, or largely missing, that typical American German accent.
Yeah.
Which everybody expects from me when they hear I'm from Germany. Well, no, technically yes, but I've spent a lot of time here in the US before moving here. So I knew what I was getting into.
And that was one of the questions. Someone wants to know how you speak such great English.
Yeah, language talent, I guess, and lots of coming here before.
Yeah.
And lots of practice. If you look at episode 1 of What About It, it wasn't as good as it is now.
Really?
It's just that now, I'd say even the last 2.5 years or so, even in Germany, we talked more English than German. German at the store and with friends, but all the other time, English. With the team, on the show, anything I did, all the live streams, the script work, all of it is in English.
What about with your family?
No, yeah, with the kids, now we speak English with them because we want them to get better.
Yeah.
But before, of course, it would have been German.
Yeah.
Of course.
Everyone's saying that you mid-move you changed to Florida, so everyone thinks that you.
Nope, didn't do that.
They don't know.
I know. I've even been confronted with it when people ask me online. Hey, when are you going to be in Brownsville? And I heard you moved to the States, so welcome to Texas. And I was like, every time somebody wrote, I was like, I never said that.
Yeah.
I'm moving to the US, but the plan was never to go to Texas. I love Texas, though.
Yeah.
I've been, every time I'm there, it's a beautiful place to be. It really is.
Someone wants to know, is there a real team space among YouTubers like me, you, What About It, NSF, Everyday Astronaut, Angry Astronaut, Scott Manley, Marcus House?
Mm-hmm.
How do you fit into that team space? Is this a real cooperative and collaborative environment or not?
Well, I don't want to say too much. It's a difficult question to answer because everybody is going with their own projects, and so there are people there that work together, and there are others that are very closed up. I mean, you know it too. There are some where you can, like with me, you send me a message and we're like, yay, let's get together. Exactly. And there are others that are hard to reach and outright restrictive copyright stuff that you have to, when you want to use their content for What About It, Chief's Pictures, become a $1 patron, you get all the pictures and you can use it for whatever you want as long as you credit What About It. Yeah. But there are others that do that differently. Mm-hmm. But largely, with one exception, I've never had bad experiences. Mm-hmm. And that's a good thing. In the work environment I was in before, as a salesperson, everybody's your enemy. Basically, the other company trying to sell to that customer, they're going to fight you because that's their turf and that's their customer and that's their sales. And even if it's your customer, they're going to try to get him and talk bad about you and whatever. I hated that. So that's not the case in Team Space, and that's a good thing. I think Team Space is more about being in it, being involved, than actually working together, which is sad. I don't like that. I'm always trying to get people together, and we have something planned, and I can't wait to announce it because we're actually getting together with someone, actually a whole team. And so we're always searching for collaboration, but not everybody does it, sadly. But on the white staff shirt, it says Team Space in the back, and there's a reason for it.
Can't wait to hear more about that.
Yeah.
Would you go to Mars if you probably get the opportunity given to you by Elon or SpaceX?
Nope.
Oh.
I would love to go. I've heard the question many times. Hey man, when are you going to leave to Mars? I have 3 kids. I can't.
Just to make sure.
Hello.
Pre-roll.
Oh yeah, it totally is.
Yeah. You're like, yeah, it is.
I was like, hey! Hey everybody!
What about that?
It's Tilted Ellie.
Does that look okay?
Yeah, it looks great. Yeah. Okay. That's almost the framing I use for my episodes.
Felix is one of my favorite interviews I have ever done. We had so much fun, and unfortunately, my mic died for half of the interview, so I didn't even get to share with you guys the entire conversation. But I want to know from you in the comments, when I go back to Florida, would you like me to try and link up with Felix again? I think that it would be well worth it. He is just such a nice guy. He's funny, and he's very knowledgeable. So hey, go give him a follow as well. Check out his channel if you haven't already. And thank you so much for watching this video and supporting Ellie in Space. We're almost at 50,000 subscribers. All of that growth has happened in just about a year and a half. So let's keep it going and let's go to space.